Felipe, Fernando, good evening, Yanis. We are very happy to be here. And today I would like to speak about Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, this Wednesday evening. In certain places in the world, people relate to this day. And there are, in a way, five, let's say, non-doing in this day. Usually, not that someone will be punished, but I would like us to, there is no punishment, there is no sin, but I would like us to see from which lens those, let's say, non-doing are written. There is a non, like fasting, it's not eating, of course, not drinking, no washing, no wearing sandals, and not mating. What those five elements or signs are meaning basically? It's not that there is like a warrant not to eat, not to drink, and so, and not to bathe. Also, there is not about it. But it's basically says what non-duality is. There is no eating there. Yes, there is no drinking, and so on. This is the perspective of non-duality. People usually take it as a you have to do this, and so those are just marks. Because Day of Atonement or Yom Kippur stands outside, or before, I would say, not outside, but before space and time. When consciousness or awareness is in there, I mean, before time, before there is appearance of a body, there is no eating and drinking and washing and so on. All those actions that apply to bodies. And Day of Atonement stands for what is before. It's before the sun and the moon, before time. It's beautiful. This is the perspective. This is why it is the most quiet day in the year. Usually people do not use their cars. So it's a very ecological day. They measure the amounts of pollution in Yom Kippur when usually cars are not being driven, or trucks, or so, only like urgencies vehicles, and the pollution is less than 85% because no one is using the roads, and so it's like from the one who just looks what is happening outside, it's quite quiet. Usually it's very hot, so people stay indoors and chilling let's say arrangement, and the cars are not driving, so the better air quality is for sure. And children are usually using those days to ride bicycles and skateboard, and not just children. Yeah. People are using the spaces that suddenly are valuable. So many are using bicycles, all kinds of bicycles, skateboards, moving on wheels. Also, there's a lot of like little accidents of bicycles, and children are being taken to hospital. They break like their legs or something, that natural when they play. But it's a very quiet day. Very, very quiet day. There are few general prayers. There's a prayers of the evening of Kippur, which is afternoon at the sunset. Yes, it goes to the night after the sun is setting and the moon is coming, and then people are returning to their home to rest. And then there's immediately the next morning at 6 o'clock already there is an opening of the day of prayer. And there are different communities here that relate to Yom Kippur in different way. There are traditional communities, and there's like a reformic communities, and people do what some people go to the sea to bathe, and so because everything is empty, it's an empty space. This is it. It is quite interesting because specifically in Yom Kippur, you can notice the emptiness or the background in which everything is happening, because everything is empty. There are no people, maybe few that are bathing. The shores are open, the roads are open, and almost if children are not riding the bicycle, just notice emptiness and silence. And you hear people speaking when they passing on the way from place to place. This is a sound that we did not hear for a long time, because usually the communication is via telephones and other means of communication, so you don't hear it. Like people walk with kinderwagons and bicycles around them, and they speak, and the air is carrying this vibe of not stress. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to appear anywhere. So people just can be. And this is amazing feeling which is in the air. Yes, there's also shofar. There's a point that there's like blowing the horn, and they just say Shana Tova, everyone. There's a prayer called Tfilat Ne'ilah, closing prayer. Yes, and they close in a way, not just Yom Kippur, but they close a unit of time of 365 days. So it's not just the 10 days from Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur. There is like a course that starts in a way last year in Rosh Hashanah, comes until this Rosh Hashanah 355 plus 10 days is 365. There is like Ne'ilah, closure, prayer. They close this unit. So this, I would say, because the time is not linear, it's not like slicing years, like cookies, like tac 355. There is all the time connection and communication. So this little strudel, yes, this little, how do you say, snail, like a spring, is being concealed in this prayer. They wish everyone like good signature for life. And immediately after this, from non-doing at all, at this evening, people come to their houses, homes, where they live, and they build a sukkah. So immediately there is a jump from non-doing at all to the manifestation. Because to build a sukkah, to take the structure of it, whether it's from wood or from metal or any other material, you have to, the act of building is just activity. And you can see, in a way, the movement from zero to, because it's very fast. Already the sun has set, the moon is out, there is a blessing of the moon. This is the 10th of Tishrei, the blessing of the moon. And after the blessing of the moon, people are hurrying. If they fast, they eat little thing. And immediately everybody, you hear tack, 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 the sound of buildings all over. Because finally you can open windows, because the temperature is less. Because usually people isolate themselves in air conditioning, so you don't hear what is happening outside. How it goes, the blessing of the moon. How it goes, you go outside. I mean, if there is assembly of people in a building, they go outside. Yes, it's to evidence nature. Yes, so you cannot be in a closed space and say something which is disconnected. People usually go outside from the building that they're assembled, or they're having prayers or communities that go outside to see the moon. Yes, this is like it's just being when the moon is in the 10th day. Yes, it's like the 10th, it's a very parallel moment to what is happening in the 10th of Nisan, in which they take the lamp inside of their homes for 4 days, because there's like unit of 4 days between the 10th of Tishrei and the 14th, when they start the Sukkot. Or I'm speaking about two parallel holidays, but it's from the same land. So let's focus. What is happening? People are going outside of the building. They notice the moon. Yes, if there are also, sometimes there are clouds. Yes, because in this time of the year, it's not, it's the end of the summer. So if there are clouds, they are waiting or so, and they see the moon and they bless the moon. Because in this part, the moon has a distance always in the 10th day of the moon month. There is a gap of 4 days until it will be full moon. Yes? So Yom Kippur is the 10th of Tishrei. They bless the moon. You go outside and they bless the moon, that it will continue to grow until it will be a full moon. It's a beautiful, beautiful moment. Because in this moment, the people already, those who are attending the prayers from 6 o'clock in the morning, at this time, 8, 9 in the evening, already left to their home to eat, to drink something, to relax. It's very intense. So few people are remaining, not many, maybe 10, like minyan. 10 is also minyan, like at the minimum of community. And they go out to the court of the synagogue or to the court of the building. They look at the skies, see the moon, locating the moon and blessing the moon. There's like a text that the moon will grow and will prosper us. And here we can see again the relation between 1 to 4. Yes, because 10 is like 1, and in 4 days from Yom Kippur, it will be 14. So 1 to 4, it will be full moon, and in a full moon, we're going to celebrate Sukkot. So there are 4 days between Yom Kippur and Sukkot, and people can complete building the Sukkah. They have time, a unit, yes, of 4 days, like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 fingers, yes? From 1 to 4. The first chapter of Weinreb's book, Words of the Bible. So there are 4 days to complete the building and decorating the Sukkah. Usually what is happening at this time, after Yom Kippur, so to speak, had left, we're building the Sukkah. It's very intensive, very, very intensive, because at least here we're doing it in the same evening. We don't do this in stages. Yes, we do it in the same evening. It is very intensive, like from 8 to 10 or 11. Depends of how fast you connect the parts and so. The ceiling. Decorating it, at least at like first layer of decorating. And of course, with it, you hear the sound, and suddenly from not doing, the streets are empty, no trucks, no bicycle, no buses, no cars, and suddenly, vroom, there is a startup hidden engine, and from all the streets you hear cars, music, bicycle, trucks. Everything is just pops into maximum of activity. So this is what is happening in terms of public. Of course, we can go into the text of this praying book of Yom Kippur. This is a recycling of prayers. But in general, there's a slowdown. Yes, it's going to be this year, Wednesday evening, until 8, 9 or so. And then the next morning, it will be Thursday, the whole day. So what is happening until Wednesday evening, it's like the evening of Shabbat, Erev Shabbat. So there's a slowly and gradually, yes, slowing down of activity, slow until you have like complete peace. I would say even absolute. You can hear the air condition if you walk. You can hear the waves of the sea. You can hear a bird. It's completely silent. And this is the vibe of Yom Kippur, completely silence and emptiness. And at Motzei Kippur, when Kippur goes out, so to speak, to the freedom of like you will be signed for life. This is the blessing that everybody will be signature for life. And suddenly there's a buzz, and there's like, in a way, starts the new year, because there is Rosh Hashanah, there is like the beginning of the year, but still there is a counting of 10 days. It's not over. There is a counting of 10 days between Rosh Hashanah and Kippur. Those days are considered to be the slicing days, Yemei Nesira, meaning the download of the new year is not happening in one go. Speaking metaphorically, the download of the new year, of the new unit in time, the download is happening in 10 days. The 10 days are between Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur. So when Kippur ends, there's a complete download. Yes, you get a confirmation, download. You'll have signature for life, and then people start building the sukkah, which is a temporary. This is a symbol of temporary, yes, building in this life. It's like a mandala. Yes, to show us that what we think is concrete, let's say people live in houses or in building apartments which are made from stone, it's considered to be solid, and we think it's like absolute, and we are very confident. But when we live for a little period of time, for 7 days, we live in a sukkah, we notice that how everything is temporary. Yes, it's not absolute. It's just we're here for a while, or the manifestation here is for a while, for 7 days. So people sit, eat, read, meet, yes, converse in the sukkah for 7 days. 7 sit, Sheva Lashevet, they sit. And then in the 10th day, there is a rising or standing, and everybody is going to dance. Yes, this is Simchat Torah, the happiness of the Torah. The Torah, yes, Shabbat is a feminine word, yes. It's like the soul, Neshama is a feminine, yes. Yes. So in the 8th day, everybody's moving, yes, from sitting, again, stagnation, yes, or assembly. There's like standing and dancing. Simchat Torah, the happiness of the Torah. And there's, Luria asked, why do we say Simchat Torah? You could say the happiness of people which are dancing. Why is it called Simchat Torah? Well, the Torah is happy. How can the Torah be happy? And Luria says it is called Simchat Torah. Good morning, Jill. It is called Simchat Torah because the Torah is happy that there are human beings as a manifestation in the world. Shalom, shalom. So why this holiday is called Simchat Torah, the happiness of the Torah? Luria says it's the happiness of the Torah. We are, in a way, in the celebration of Simchat Torah, we are participating in the happiness of the Torah. What is the happiness of the Torah? That there are human beings living here, and they will open the Torah and read it. This is the happiness of the Torah, Simchat Torah, according to Luria. So people are taking the Torah is like is staying, or is being preserved in a certain space in the synagogue, like the ark, and they take the Torah outside, and the Torah is being shielded in a little housing, and this housing is decorated with pomegranates, and this housing is sometimes of wood, and there's like all kinds of decoration from wood or from silver. It depends on the housing of the Torah. And there's blessing, and people take the Torah out from the synagogue, from behind the curtain to outside of the synagogue or to the court in public, and dance with the Torah. And this is the highest point, because there is a recognition of new life begin. So there is a tension, and most of the people do not like to feel this tension. From Rosh Hashanah to Simchat Torah, those are 22 days. Yes, 22, like the 22 letters of the manifestation. So there is a tension, because there's 2 days of Rosh Hashanah, and then you have to counting of 10 days until Yom Kippur preparation, and then there's like non-doing, and then the blessing of the moon, shofar, and then to hero, everything starts. Check, check. People are building the sukkah. Of course, Sukkot is also considered to be a pilgrimage holiday, so people go to where the temple used to be in Jerusalem and assembly for prayers. This is another aspect of the holiday. Sitting in the sukkah, celebrating. It's a beautiful season in nature. But those 22 days have a lot of tension in them, and people rather not to feel them. So it's a free choice. They choose to spend the time off abroad. Why do I say tension? Because the year cannot start until Simchat Torah. Until Simchat Torah is like when you run into, when there's a stadium. So the stadium where people run, let's say, or horse or something, it is built in elliptic way. So you have like parallel 2 lines which you can run straight. A horse or people, it depends who's using it's stadium. You have like 2 parallel lines that you can run straight, but when the curve is coming and it's in the shape of elliptic, you have to curve your running to adapt your running and movement into the curve. You cannot run straight. You have to change your position in running, like you're running on rocks. So it's different if you're running on a straight road or straight path, or you're running between rocks, neighborhood, obstacle running. So this is the time of the year from Rosh Hashanah to Simchat Torah that it's like obstacle course. Yes, you cannot run the business, you cannot run, so to speak, the system like it's not exist, because it's a holiday, rest, and then counting, and all things considered, you cannot run it. So there is a lot of tension of celebrating, resting, organizing in a few days between the coming holiday, or the past holiday and the coming holiday, and there's also weekends in between. So it's like obstacle period, and this is why this period of 22 days is contains a lot of tension in it, a lot. But when Simchat Torah is being celebrated, and then there's like the great you go of this accordion period, and basically from Simchat Torah the new year starts. Yes, the new year, the course starts. Children are returning to school until Christmas. Hanukkah is just week after week after week, meaning week of studying, weekend, and so it is straight. But this time of the year, this accordion part between Rosh Hashanah and Simchat Torah is like obstacle. Yes, because it's up and down, up and down. Just this is how it is. Of course, Sukkot is also considered to be a pilgrimage holiday, so people are arriving to Jerusalem from all over the world. They're participating in public prayers. And Monday and Thursday, there's the Kohanim blessing. There's a public blessing. Kohanim are blessing the people who participates, or the whole world in a way. So people like to hear the blessing. And traditionally, King Solomon in those days, when people used to come to the temple to Jerusalem, used to read in front of them the Torah, renew the covenant. And this is a very beautiful part of the year. This autumn, falling leaves, there's less hot and sunny days, so people take the time to travel and to be with nature, because there's like units of holidays, so they have a lot of time to go, and also the conditions in the nature are not that extreme as in the high summer, so they take the time to go to, how do you say, nature reservatory, and sometimes they have concerts at night or opera, and there's like sometimes assemblies in the desert. There's a lot of nature activity for people, for community, if they want to participate in it. It is a very, very beautiful season. Of course, there are different communities, and each of the communities relating to this period of the year very differently. There are traditional communities that they celebrate home, synagogue, and so on, prayers, and there's like more open communities. Just it is beautiful, beautiful part of the year in terms of nature. So people, those who are, let's say, birds watchers, it's today the first community of cranes. Cranes landed in Israel. There's a bird called crane. Crane because they say whenever they fly, they do cry, cry, the sound of cry. So they call crane. And the first community arrived to the Hula Lake. It is in the northern part of Israel. So those who are, let's say, birds watcher or people that walk in nature, it's beautiful, because in those days, since it's a wandering season, many millions of birds are crossing Israel on the way to Africa. And there are birds watchers that are documenting their movement. And they always say, look above you, because they fly at night. There's more peace at night when people are sleeping. Yes, there's more free movement for them. So birds watchers always say, look upstairs, what is happening above. It's just millions of beautiful birds are crossing every day, and nights, of course. So it's very, very beautiful season. Just few words about Yom Kippur and a bit Sukkot, and if you have any kind of question that you would like to ask, please feel free. Fernando, Felipe, Giulianis. Thank you, Fernando. One, yes, Felipe?
No, no, just hearing you speak about it, it's amazing how many days, how extend is this period of celebrating. And I always think about the Ushpizin
Mm,
and the guests in the sukkah, which
mm.
is it's a beautiful concept because uh, we it's the acceptance of the guests that are sent in our lives. This is a I think this is a beautiful concept.
Yes, thank you, Felipe, for the Ushpizin. Ushpizin are the, in Aramaic, it means the guests that are coming to sit with us in the sukkah, in this temporary housing. Ushpizin are the guests from Ushpiza, from to host. Yes, the word hospital in English, yes, comes also from Aramaic. So those seven shepherds are coming to dwell with us in the sukkah, in the temporary housing. The seven shepherds are Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Aaron, Moses, Joseph, and David. Those seven guests. I think that I missed, yes, I said Aaron, yes. And those seven guests are manifesting the seven lower spheres, or the the space and time that we are living here in a manifestation. In a way, all our appearance in time and space is considered to be the unit of 7 days. Make any sense? Symbolically. Symbolically. Do we understand that? People usually, they look at the papers and they say, this man is like 93 years old, or 120 and 250 years old. Yes, people look at the documentation and they count the years. And this is like evidence of how many years, this is the perspective of the papers of how many years this human lived or is living. But the sages, and from all kinds of traditions, not just Hebrew, they look at the appearance of a unit of 7 days or seven spheres. It doesn't matter of how many years once someone appears here. It doesn't matter if it's like few decades, 9 decades, 15 decades. It doesn't matter. Every appearance in time and space symbolically is considered to be of 7 days. Does it make any sense? Do you hear about it first time? So once people are sitting in the sukkah and each evening or each day they're hosting a new guest, it's like quality, hosting a different quality. First time, Yanis, yes. So the first day of the sukkah, the hosting grace, yes. Second day of the sukkah, hosting overcoming, or gevurah in Hebrew, overcoming, gevurah. In the third day, hosting the sphere of Tiferet, or beauty. In the fourth day, hosting Netzach, eternity, and Moses, and so on, and so on. So The sages are looking at, we as, let's say, modern people are looking at life completely different. How many years somebody has lived? He was born in certain point, certain day, lived 150 years and passed away. This is how people see life. What is written on the paper, appearance and disappearance. Sages, also artists, look at this in a different way. The whole appearance here, it doesn't matter if it's 15 years, 20 years, 150, 400 years, is basically appearance in space and time. And this unit is considered to be symbolically of 7 days. This is it. It is very, very simple. Like there's another parable which people are using to just to see from this perspective. The life of a butterfly is 1 day. Life of a butterfly is 1 day. Again, we can look at the life of people. Usually people are counting the years. Yes? But sages are looking at life differently. They say similarly, it doesn't matter how many years a body appears here. 150 years, 200, it's basically 1 day. This is a completely different lens. Questions? Is there something that interests you or you would like to ask about? One beautiful element about the sukkah is when you put the roof of the sukkah, sometimes it's from branches or palms, branches or any kind. Sometimes it is from bamboo. And the roof has to be spacey, not to put too many branches one on top of the other. It has to be spacey that we could see the stars when you lift your head in the sukkah. You could see you have a direct connection to the stars. It is a beautiful, beautiful experience. Because what happens is when people sit at the sukkah, and what is the sukkah? It's basically like 4 sticks, I would say, which are surrounded, or gazebo, which is surrounded by fabric or by foil or blankets, and on top of the roof you take branches of the seasons. Anyway, the gardeners are chopping the leftover branches which are causing heaviness to the tree. So this is the season. So anyways, the branches are lying there in the public garden. So people take those branches and put it on top as a roof, temporary roof. And you, while you sit in the sukkah, you don't have the sense of permanent living in between walls, concrete and bricks. It's so fluid. It is so fluid because comes a wind, and in this wind, and in this part of the year when the autumn begins, there's constant wind from the west, and from the northwest. This is like the season that the wind really comes sharply. And you sit in the sukkah, and sometimes there are sunny days or hot days, and sometimes there is a very, very strong wind, and the wind is moving through those fabrics of the blankets of the sukkah, like, and you notice how everything is like shivery and liquid, and you have to all the time go and fasten not the seat belt, but to fasten the ropes, because it's like a boat. All the time comes wind from the west, from the north, very sharp wind, and it moves through the sukkah, and all the structure is being like roughly moved, and come with ropes and tied it like a captain or like a sailor. And you see how everything is very, very temporal. It's a beautiful experience, specifically in the autumn, because in this part of the year, everything can happen. It can be a very, very hot day, or it can be a very, very windy day, or suddenly comes a very sharp rain. And you see how not vulnerable, but how clueless we are. Sometimes there's a heavy rain, very sudden. Suddenly the wind comes and moves the blankets, everything falls, and you have to rebuild it. Sometimes it's a very hot day, and everything can happen in any moment. So it is a connection to nature, yes, but it's a vivid understanding or experience to see how clueless we are about what is firm and steady and constant, because humanity builds through the course of time a lot of systems that can predict, that can uh, ensure standing buildings, or buildings that will stand in the storm or in the flood or in the fire or in the earthquake, all kinds of elements of surprises. But once we sit in the sukkah, and this is a parable of our temporal dwelling in a manifestation, you can see how everything is so liquid. Sudden rain, sudden wind, everything moves. Suddenly a hot day. Dogs can come from somewhere, yes, and bark. People can come because it's not, you don't sit behind doors and 10 lockers. So, yeah. So also guests can come, not just seven spheres. People can come and they visit usually each other, and they sitting, and it's time to just chill, because it's impossible to sit in the summer like this in nature. So finally there's a great rest from the summer, and people just can speak to each other, drink something, converse. Beautiful. By the way, Philo of Alexandria wrote very, very beautifully about the season and Sukkot. Beautifully, beautiful. So people rest from the heat of the summer. It's also a harvest season. Chag Sukkot, the holiday of Sukkot, is also being called Chag Asif, the holidays of harvest, because people are collecting the fruits of the summer. Yes, some are being stored for the winter, other will be from them marmalades and juices. So there's a harvest season, so they're counting, collecting, sorting, and preparing for the coming winter. It is so beautiful, so beautiful. So this time is not easy from Rosh Hashanah to Simchat Torah, because it's like you drive bricks, you stand, you sit, you dance. It's like, but it is full of happenings, because you're incapable of running like a horse. Yes, we notice the little changes in nature, because it's impossible to run like we usually run with the head into the wall. Yes. I know what I want. I go for the day. I have my targets. I shoot 10 horses or whatever. Because it's like this, it is built like this in a curve way. You notice every day those little changes. It's like in a baby's life. In a way, a new year is being born. It is like a baby. So every day there is a change. And it's significant change. And the wishing is that we shall notice those changes. We are there aren't two elements, the world meaning comma the nature in us. We it is there is no subject object, so to notice this, and once it is built like this in such a curved way and you cannot run straight, we notice every day a little change. And while noticing it, that we notice that we are not the doers. Slowly the sun every day rises few minutes later in the morning and sets few minutes. Yes, I mean the sun is setting late. I must say, the sun comes every day more and more into the day. It rises later, or and in the evening it sets earlier, and it's getting suddenly chilly, and you can open the window. It's not just the mechanics, because most of everything is just by mechanics. The rotations of the planet around the sun, the seasons, it's already preset. We did not do anything that the universe will stand. So in this way, we can notice those changes. And it's so beautiful. Because what we sense is the resonation is that we are not in charge of everything. Just notice how it is the tree gives its fruit, beautiful large fruit, sweety fruit after the summer. We have nothing to do with it. This is what the tree does. It gives its fruit. You just pick it, store it, eat it, do with it whatever you like. Paint it. But it is been given. We are not the doers. And specifically in those days, you can notice a different kind of harvest, different kinds of fruit, which used to come from spring, yes, through the summer until the autumn. And soon there will be a olive harvest, yes? So, yes, it's beautiful. And from the harvest, we can make olive oil. It is so beautiful because what happens to us is that we always, specifically in those times, yes, we're always clicking, yes, expecting a comment, yes. Write something, you search for something, immediately you get a result, and very fast result, and there is like zero time. And we're living in different units because we are very much working and as living as responsive animals. Yes, something happened, there's a comment from the animal, from the system. And specifically in those days, you notice that, wow, we always, and this is also what makes people so sad, because they always think about themselves as separated entities. And if I don't do this, if I don't type this, nothing will happen. When you see it in those days and you just notice what is happening, it doesn't matter what we do. This is how life is. The tree gives its fruit, there's harvest season, the sun is relaxing, suddenly there's like sudden rain, and so beautiful flowers are coming. All people can chill from the exhaustion of the summer. People can chill. People can rest. Nature rest. It just, there is a great change of colors of the trees. There's more silent because the sun aggravates. It brings also the fruits. The sun cooks the fruits and cooks people's brain as well to all kinds of behavior. But once the sun or the planet Earth is just taking its curve again in the equinox, and everything relaxes. People are relaxing, and there's like peace, and we can just be in this peace and notice that we are not in charge. We are not separated entities. We don't have really problems. And this is so beautiful. And this is, at this time comes Simchat Torah. The Torah is happy that we exist, and we are happy with the Torah. We are not the doers. All life is happening without us needing to do anything. Just notice this. And this is a great happiness and great relief from the burden of the heavy narration story that we carry. Because it's just a narration, it's just a story. Yes, words that are put together to create a certain structure which is outside of the world. But it's not true, and this fictional story is falling. It just falls in those days because you see what's happened. And this is a great gift. This is why we wait all the summer to rest. Yes. So we wish everyone Chag Sameach, Shana Tova, signature for life. Yes. All will be thankful life, wherever people are. And we could, Chag Sameach, and we could meet here Thursday. Yes. Thursday afternoon. Yes. Thankful life for sure. We can meet here on Thursday. Yes, shortly before the blessing of the moon. Yes, to live. Yes, is to be here now. Yes. So we shall meet here on Thursday afternoon. Yes, when they're blowing the horn, when Yom Kippurim is ending. This is where we shall meet on Thursday. Yes, before the blessing of the moon and between blowing the horn. Yes, and the blessing of the moon. We shall meet on Thursday. And if you have any question or thoughts to share, experience to share, feel free. So thank you all for being here, participating here. Toda, Chag Sameach. See you soon and thankful life. Toda v'shalom.